I'm home. Welcome back. As usual, when I open the living room door after returning home, my mom and my brother Ethan greet me. You must be hungry, let's have dinner. Mom quickly prepares stew and salad for us. Since Dad is on a business trip all this week, the three of us sit down at the table. My name is Lily. I graduated from college this spring and got a job at an e-commerce company dealing with interiors and furniture. I've loved French movies since middle school and started studying French to enjoy them without relying on dubbing or subtitles. This paid off, as I was hired by this company to utilize my French skills, especially in the procurement department. How was school? Everyone's nice and the teachers are kind too. Ethan, who will turn 16 at the end of this month, was born with limited vision, able to discern colors vaguely, and can't walk outside without a white cane. During middle school, he faced bullying like having his white cane taken away or being tripped. Every time we heard such reports from his teachers during the 3 years of middle school, our family worried and discussed many times whether he should transfer to another school, but Ethan firmly refused. There are all kinds of people at school, and it's normal. Not everyone is going to be convenient for me. I have friends, and I'm fine till I graduate from middle school. That's how he continued until graduation. However, his vision worsened over those 3 years, and he decided to go to a school for the visually impaired for high school. I made friends today. We were worried after all he went through in middle school, but seeing him talk happily about school made my mom and me relieved. How about you, sis? Is work tough? I'm still in training. I'm spending my days learning about different departments and getting explanations. Though it's called work, I'm still learning a lot and mostly taking notes. As we eat stew, I talk about my job and Ethan listens with great interest, smiling. Mom, sitting next to me, seems interested too and eagerly engages in my story. So, after training, will you be using your French skills in negotiations? Lily, that's so cool. Well, I'd be happy if that happens, but I think I'll have to learn a lot by observing my seniors work first, so it'll be a while before I handle negotiations alone. Hey, Mom, I just had a great idea. When Lily starts handling negotiations, let's buy one of the pieces of furniture she deals with. That's a great idea. We'll talk about it when Dad comes back from his trip. Their excited voices remind me of how happy they were when I got the job, celebrating as if it was their own achievement. Mom and Ethan are looking forward to it. I need to work hard to become fully competent at my job as soon as possible. And so, after a week of training, I was assigned to assist a senior in the procurement department. My boss, David, is a fifth-year buyer. Lily, looking forward to working with you. I have a keen eye for interiors and furniture, but I'm not great with French. I'm really counting on your assistance. Yes, I look forward to working with you too. I was nervous as David greeted me. I had heard rumors about his good performance, so I was determined not to let him down. But a week later, my impression of him changed slightly after overhearing a conversation between him and another coworker, Tyler. Tyler, I heard you're planning to procure some Scandinavian antique furniture this time? Yep, what about it? While working at my desk as usual, David approached Tyler, seemingly after looking at some document. Tyler's expression turned puzzled. Wondering if they didn't get along, my concern grew as David said something unbelievable. Do you even have any Scandinavian antique furniture at home? I think it's reckless to venture into luxury furniture you've never bought or used. Tyler looked offended and his expression soured. I don't need to own it or have bought it before to study up. I believe I can make good purchases with the right knowledge. David just snorted dismissively at Tyler's valid retort, saying, "You know what that's called? Rashness," before returning to his work. Our company's Scandinavian antiques are pricey, not something most families can afford. From David's tone, I guessed his family might be wealthy enough to buy such furniture. But there was no need for him to be so harsh. As Tyler argued, good purchases are possible with knowledge and discernment, even without personal buying experience. Still, my distrust towards David only grew, but I kept a neutral demeanor at work. 3 weeks after joining the company, a welcome party for the new employees was held. The venue was a nearby pub known for its tasty food and drinks. An hour into the party, with everyone loosened up by alcohol, conversations about hobbies and personal life began to liven up. People chatted in various groups when my peer, Ryan, joined David. "Hey, I heard your family owns a famous luxury hotel. What's its name?" David furrowed his brows at Ryan's question. "Sorry, I'd rather not talk about my family." But Ryan, seemingly tipsy, persisted, unconcerned by David's discomfort. "Come on. Why not? Just tell us." Once I mention the hotel name, people like you rudely ask for free stays or discounts, claiming camaraderie. "It's really annoying," David said, grimacing. The mood soured instantly with his words. Yet, he continued, unaware or indifferent. "It's like insects swarming to honey, constantly bothering me. That's why I've kept it secret and intend to keep it that way." Ryan, sobered up by David's response, apologized briefly before moving to another table. Perhaps David had dealt with people trying to take advantage of him in the past. And Ryan, driven by drunken curiosity, was wrong to pry into personal matters. But there was no need for David to be so harsh in a pleasant gathering. This thought sobered me up quickly. It seemed others felt the same, as no one engaged David until the party ended. After the party, I found myself heading to the same station as the department head, Mason. "Is working with David difficult?" Mason asked, looking concerned. I thought for a moment before replying, "It's fine. He's competent and not a bad guy. But sometimes he says things better left unsaid. It's a shame, really." "I can see that," Mason replied with a wry smile, a sentiment I shared, laughing ruefully. "By the way, your first paycheck is coming up soon, right? Any plans for it?" Mason changed the subject, noticing my mood. Indeed, payday was near. I hadn't thought much about how to spend it yet. "Well, maybe a short family trip nearby would be nice." "That's so nice. Lily, you really care about your family." "I'm sure they'll be thrilled." I chatted about this with Mason all the way to the station, where we parted ways. Using my first paycheck for a family trip. I wonder if Dad, Mom, and Ethan would be excited about it. When I got home and mentioned it, Ethan seemed to have an idea. I heard from a friend that the Grand Hotel near the next station started an all-you-can-eat famous sweets from around the world event last week. "It's not exactly a trip, but I've been wanting to go." "Oh, that's a great idea. You love sweets, don't you? Should we all go then? Maybe we can splurge on dinner at the hotel too?" Considering the budget I had set aside for a trip, having dinner there seemed feasible. When I suggested it, my parents exchanged glances. "Unfortunately, Dad and I can't make it. We have to go to Kentucky this weekend." I suddenly remembered they had mentioned this plan. But if we postponed our outing by a week, the hotel's sweets event would be over. "It's a shame we can't go, but since Lily planned this and Ethan is excited, you two should go ahead." It was disappointing that my parents couldn't join, but as they suggested, Ethan and I decided to go by ourselves. On the much-anticipated Sunday, we took a taxi to the hotel. The sweets buffet we reserved started at 1 p.m. We decided to skip lunch to save room for the sweets. The staff guided us to our reserved table and explained the variety of desserts available to Ethan as we enjoyed the buffet. Ethan is really knowledgeable about cakes. Whenever there's a sweets feature on TV, he listens and explains which state the bakery is in, whether they offer delivery, and other details. Today, he was especially delighted, finding many cakes and cream puffs he had wanted to try. "It's such a joy to eat so many sweets." Totally. After filling up, we thought we might not be hungry for dinner, so we decided to take a walk in the hotel's rooftop garden. It was when we opened the large doors to the garden floor. "Wait, what?" I exclaimed in surprise upon seeing a familiar face. It was David. David looked just as surprised to see me. "Lily? What are you doing here?" "I came for a meal with my brother. We just came from the sweets buffet on the third floor." David's expression turned stern upon hearing my explanation. "Really? And who told you to come here?" I didn't understand the meaning behind his sharp question. "Who told me?" "My brother wanted to come to this hotel for the sweets buffet, so we made a reservation for dinner at the Sky restaurant." "You made a reservation for the restaurant? Did you drop my name to get it?" His question made me suddenly recall a conversation from the recent welcome party. I remembered hearing that David's parents own a famous hotel. Could this be their hotel? Caught up in my thoughts, I didn't respond, and David shook his head in frustration. I find it troubling when people do this. And that's a white cane your brother is holding, right? He's visually impaired? Is it safe for him to wander around? I'm sorry, but the restaurant can't take responsibility if you two get hurt here due to carelessness. His unexpected words made my blood boil. Excuse me, but we came here purely to enjoy the sweets and dinner. We had no idea this hotel was owned by your parents. And I'm here with my brother. We won't unreasonably blame the hotel if anything happens. That's a terrible thing to say about my brother. Please apologize. I demanded an apology, but David didn't back down. Is that how you speak to your superior? It's going to be awkward at work tomorrow, you know. I haven't said anything wrong. Please apologize. It was then. You're right, you should apologize. It's rude to speak like that to guests of our hotel. A dignified woman appeared behind us. David's face paled upon seeing her. I was confused about who she was, but Ethan, who had been quietly worried, suddenly brightened up and addressed her. Is that you, Yvonne? This is our first time meeting, isn't it? Yvonne? First time meeting? What does that mean? The woman, addressed as Yvonne, bowed to us, and Ethan explained. Yvonne is the manager of this hotel. We're in the same online suite study group. I remembered Ethan mentioning using screen reader software a few years back, enabling him to navigate computers despite his visual impairment. Nice to meet you, Ethan. The suites event here was actually based on your advice. It's been a huge success every day, and we're so grateful. We wanted to send an invitation but didn't have your address. While Ethan listened to Yvonne with a beaming smile, David was the complete opposite, looking ashen-faced and downcast. When Yvonne approached David, she let out a heavy sigh. Where did I go wrong in raising you? If you think being a hotel owner makes you better than others, that's a huge mistake. Our hotel operates because guests choose to use our services. We aim to satisfy every customer, yet you can't even apologize for your mistake. As both a manager and a mother, I'm deeply disappointed. David, with a bitter look on his face, turned towards us and said in a feeble voice, I was mistaken. I apologize. No, it's okay, now. You were just worried about me, right? My sister is with me, and since the misunderstanding is cleared, I'm not worried anymore. But you're my sister's boss, right? Please continue to work normally. It would be problematic if this incident affects your working relationship. Ethan said this, even covering for me. Afterward, David seemed to soften up a bit, becoming less harsh with me and others. He still occasionally made prejudiced remarks, but when challenged, he listened and showed willingness to reflect if he realized his error. As for Ethan, he had apparently told Yvonne about my first furniture procurement at work, and she expressed interest in joining the plan. Motivated by this, I'm now more determined than ever to find a piece of furniture that meets everyone's expectation.